It only takes one single year to completely change your life. And if we dial it down, it only really takes one single decision in order to kickstart a journey that will eventually lead you to the life that you want to live. And that's what I've done. Over the course of the last year, I've gone from being a broke personal trainer, making around $3,000 per month, working from my hometown, having to commute to work early in the morning, finish work late at night, in the UK, in the freezing cold, the pouring rain. It wasn't an ideal situation or circumstance. Let's put it that way. I wasn't jumping out of bed with joy, thinking, wow, this is the life of my dreams, and I want to do this for the rest of my life. No. I always knew that I was destined and made for more, and I always knew that my capability in life was being squandered. I wasn't living up to this potential that I knew deep down inside of me I had. I just couldn't quite figure out the right path, the right avenue to walk down so that I could actually attain these goals. I could actually achieve everything I want in life. And the very first step for myself was when I tried to become an online fitness coach, because I always knew, number one, you need to make money online. Plain and simple, in today's day and age, if you are not making an online income, then you are missing a trick. You are missing out on the greatest opportunity we've ever seen as a generation. And online coaching was the easiest transition from being a gym floor personal trainer. It was the one that made the most sense. However, did I know much about marketing, copy, have a regular posting schedule, understand how to encapsulate an offer to bring an audience? No, I did not. I had no idea about the online space. So what did I do? I took a bold leap of faith and I invested into somebody else. I invested to learn from somebody who had already walked the walk. The path that I'm looking to go down, they've already got the map. They've made it. And I invested a month's wages into it. It was £3,000 at the time, which I believe is maybe $4,500, give or take. So I invested that straight away into a mentor, and I worked with him for 6 months. And for every day I would post on my story, on my Instagram reels, on my Instagram tab, I would be so dialed in to making this happen, to making this a success. I didn't see any other way, because there were two ways for me to look at life. There was either A, think, you know what, this could be a scam. You know what, I've seen it, I've heard it time and time again. Is it even real? Are these people actually talking about what they've achieved, or are they making it up? And I thought, look, this is a risk. I could invest £3,000, $4,500 and lose it. It could go up in flames. I could not succeed. But what was the alternative? The alternate option was to do nothing, was to play it safe, was to continue on the path that I had been on. And if I had taken that path, if I had taken that decision, then guess where I would be right now? I certainly wouldn't be in Dubai, starting 2026 in the sunlight, in an amazing, uplifting place. No, I would still be a personal trainer. I would still be working in my hometown. I wouldn't have been able to do anything that I have been able to over the last year if I had gone down that same route that the vast majority of people do. The safe path. The one that doesn't come with risk. And the biggest thing I can tell you right now is you will never live the life you want to live unless you take risk. You never will. 0% chance. Have you ever heard of a legendary tale or a story where the hero said, I was born in my hometown, I played it safe my whole life, I didn't go on any adventures, and boom, I made it to great success and it's an incredible story? No one would want to watch that if it was a film. No one would care. everyone goes through trials and tribulations to eventually overcome them, learn from them, and reach a pinnacle, reach a point where people can look up and say, you know what? He's made it. And I invested in myself. That was the very first step, and that changed everything in my life from that one moment. Because what I then did was I started to interact with an individual who was making a lot more money than me, who had a lot less limiting beliefs than I did, who could instill that conviction and that discipline into me. And that's what he did. Now, unfortunately, as I got to the end of the 6 months with working with him, we'd become good friends. However, my business hadn't taken off. I'd gained a couple clients here and there, but it wasn't making me the money that I wanted it to make. And I started to lose motivation. I thought, look, maybe fitness isn't really my passion. It's not what I want to pursue for the rest of my time. And he said to me, look, there's one thing that you're very good at: articulating and speaking to other people and coaching other people. So you know what would be a good avenue? High ticket closing, remote online sales. I had no idea what that even was. Not a clue. And from there, I looked up appointment setting. And then from there, I looked up high ticket closing. And I said, well, look, once again, what other option do I have? I have to do anything in my power and take any necessary step in order to attain the life of my dreams. Because there is no other option. I burned the boats. I'm not staying here. I'm going somewhere else. I'm destroying any concept of retreat, and I'm pushing forward relentlessly until I've attained my goals. Plain and simple. And this is the mentality that you need to have when it comes to your life. You need to have that conviction in yourself, because no one else is going to give it to you. They can help, they can guide, but you deep down inside need to have that fire. Because once that fire is lit, that is what is going to drive you to push harder to then get the results that the vast majority of people don't ever achieve. That's what it takes. So what did I do? I invested again. Straight off, I invested again. At this point, I wasn't scared of it being a scam. I wasn't. Because what is there to be afraid of? I lose money? You can just make money back. Yes, it takes time, but it's not an impossibility. Plain and simple. You know what would be an impossibility? Achieving my goals if I didn't invest in myself. Simple. So bang, I threw an additional £3,000, $4,500 into another mentor, but this time specifically for high ticket closing, for remote sales. Now guess when that was? That was in September 2024. So just over 1 year ago. And since then, through relentless pursuit, through relentless passion, I applied myself wholeheartedly every single day on this journey, on this path. Within 3 months, so September, October, November, December, I trained every single day. I would work in the gym from 8 in the morning till 7 at night. I would drive straight home and I would immediately jump onto team recordings, sales calls, group coaching calls, and I would begin taking closing calls because I immediately looked for someone to take me on board an offer. Because of course, the best way to gain experience is by diving headfirst into the deep end and figuring out how to swim. That's how it goes. And I'd already started taking closing calls. It was for a low ticket fitness offer at the time, but I knew as long as I record and document my skill set, I can then use that as a stepping stone to level up into the next company and then the next company. And that is exactly what I did. And then over the course of 2025, I went from being that personal trainer with no prior experience in sales or the online space to then quitting my job in March 2025. Quit. Done. I remember I was sat in my office, crying. I cried when I quit my job. Because, look, I was self-employed. I wasn't a 9-to-5er. I was working more than 9 to 5, that's for sure. But I wasn't answering to a boss. I was still having to manage my own timetable and manage my own finances. But I'd been working as a personal trainer for the last 2 to 3 years. I'd built a heartfelt connection with a lot of my clients who I'd been working with for a very long time. I saw them more than I saw my family and my friends. And it was all I knew. There's the key. It was all I knew I was good at. It was comfortable. It was my safety net. That's the problem. Comfortability breeds stagnation. It causes you to begin to spin your wheels if you stay in the sand too long. Eventually, you need to switch the gear and get moving. As long as you keep those stepping stones going and you appreciate the moment whilst you're in it, of course, you don't get caught up in this rat race mentality where you never appreciate anything you achieve. Oh, because you can always get more, you can always get more. Don't do that. But don't ever settle. There's the difference. And I remember quitting my job, crying. It felt like such a huge moment for me. But I got a whiteboard out, folded it out, and I wrote in the middle of the whiteboard, I will make exactly the same amount of money that I've made at my best ever PT month by May of this year, which was around £5,000, I think was the most I ever really made as a personal trainer in 1 month. So maybe $7,000, I think, 7.5. So I wrote that and I thought, look, I'm giving myself now 2 months in a new career to now make more than the best month I've ever made. That's the goal I set myself. And guess what happened in May 2025? I beat it. I made more than I'd ever made as a personal trainer within, well, let's think about it. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Within 9 months of even knowing what this career path was or that it even existed, I had already made more than I'd ever made in a career that I'd been in for 2 to 3 years. That is the capability that high ticket closing can provide for you. That's the capability that this career path has. As long as you apply yourself, as long as you put your best foot in front of the other day in, day out, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. That's the beauty of life. The only limitation you have standing in your way is you. That's it. Nothing else. You have so much internal capability. You sell yourself short day in, day out. Release your limitations. Step past those barriers, and I can assure you that once you've smashed down that wall of fear that's standing in your way, you take a necessary risk that the life you're waiting for is so close. Genuinely, before 2027, you could be a completely different human being, living in a completely different place, loving your life, waking up day after day, so enthusiastic about what you do. Within 9 months, I'd made more than I'd ever made in 1 month. So then guess what I did? I celebrated, I rubbed the whiteboard clean, and I wrote, I will make £10,000 in 1 month by September 2025. So exactly that 1 year mark. Since ever beginning, I want to hit £10,000, which I believe is about maybe $12,500, $13,000 per month. Bang, in the middle of the whiteboard. So what did I do? I got to work. I immediately realized that the sales vehicle I was in, the company that I was closing for, didn't have the potential to make me that amount of money. Just with the statistics and how many calls I was taking and the price of the package, it wouldn't add up. So I pivoted. I used the call recordings that I'd gained to apply for a new role, and I got placed on a new company, a bigger, a better company that had the capacity to make me that money, and I immediately rose to number 1 on my sales team. Every single offer I've ever been on, I have been the number 1 on my sales team. Plain and simple. Why? Is it because I've got some form of God's gift when it comes to closing and when it comes to sales and when it comes to dealing with people. No. It's just because I apply myself and I work hard and I focus on one specific skill and craft and I make sure I get better at it day after day. Guess who can do that as well? You! With anything. It's just one specific skill. High ticket closing is just the most accessible because it requires minimal upfront investment, a few £1,000s, a few $1,000s into yourself. It's not going to leave you homeless and on the streets, but the upside and the potential is astronomical. Just consider that. So I rose to number 1, and what happened in September? What happened? I made over £10,000 within that month, over $13,000. I believe it was 14 and a half. Wait, no. Was it? Yeah, I believe it might have been about 14 and a half. So boom. Congratulations. I did it. This is incredible. So then I'm sat thinking, well, hold on. What's the next step? What's the next goal from here? Well, I suppose £15,000 maybe, which is $20,000. That's a good aim, right? Where should we set that for? And at this point, I thought, look, okay, that'd be a good thing to hit as we come into the new year, right? Give myself another couple months to go from 10 to 20, of course. Wrong. The next month, I made over $20,000 in 1 month. 1 month. And that was the year anniversary from ever taking my first closing call. October 2024 to October 2025. I took my very first closing call. I made over $20,000 in 1 month in commission. What other job in the world where you can invest $4,000 or $5,000 in can within 1 year make you over 20 with zero prior work experience, zero prior connections? This is why I am so enthusiastic about trying to get people to follow in my footsteps and get involved in this career. Because the upside potential, regardless, is always going to be worth the risk. It is. Let's say you invested $5,000 and you thought, you know what, this isn't for me. After a few months of hard work and dedication, you said, I don't like this, I'm not feeling it, I don't have the passion, and I'm not getting the results that I'm after. So be it. At least you tried. And guess what? You've learned a valuable lesson. You now know that this isn't for you, but from there, you will have undoubtedly opened your horizons, overcome an initial fear, overcome skepticism, so you'll now be more prepared and open for the next move, the next step. Like how I went from online fitness coaching to high ticket closing. It made the step and the pivot so much easier because I'd already taken the risk. I'd already overcome that initial issue, and that's the biggest problem there is. And time again, all I hear, and it's just sickening, it's sickening to hear, is somebody coming to me. Because of course, I now run my own mentorship, helping people like yourself who feel stuck, who feel trapped, who want a life of freedom, who want to travel anywhere in the world at a whim, to begin the year, to end the year. I help people like you to get into the space, increase their close rate, improve their closing skills, and then make the commission that you really deserve so that you can provide for your family, so that you can provide for yourself. But I hear people consistently say to me, look, how much is it, bro? How much is your mentorship? I hate my job. I don't get to spend time with the family and the kids. I don't get to do this. I really want to be able to do what you do. That's the life I want to live. But how much is it, bro? Because I've not got much money at the moment. I've been living paycheck to paycheck for the last year. I've not got the funds. Oh, okay. Oh, that's actually quite expensive. That's a lot. Hold on. Give me till X day and then I'll save up in 4 or 5 months' time and then I'll go for it. How do you not understand that that mentality alone is going to keep you stuck on the hamster wheel? It's your brain deceiving you. Because what your brain does is it sees that big number, and due to your programming from a child and throughout life and the way in which you view money, you have been coded to trade your time for money. So when you see the number £3,000, $5,000, you think, wow, I've had to work a lot of time to make that. Wow, that would be over 2 months of work. That would be 2 months for me of working. That's a lot of money. Therefore, it makes me very uncomfortable to spend it. Therefore, I can't spend that right now, because then I won't be able to pay this, and I won't be able to pay that, and I won't be able to pay that. Until you break that pattern of thinking, until you break out of that cycle, you will never be able to become the version of yourself who is capable of making far more money, so that money is then never an issue. You will never become that version of yourself, and they are inside here. I can assure you, because I didn't know he was inside me until I achieved it. Until every single day I wake up now and I amaze myself. I did not expect to be here. Of course I didn't. I thought £10,000 a month was a crazy amount of money that very few people make. Until I made it. And then it was 15, and now it's 20. And the goalposts just continuously move, because every time your brain realizes it's possible, realizes you can achieve it, then it makes you feel like it's more realistic. It makes it feel like, hold on a minute, no, that can happen. The only person telling me it couldn't was me. You are your own worst enemy at times. So I implore you, get a piece of paper, get a notepad or a whiteboard, and I want you to begin to write your dream life. So start with a circle in the middle, like a spider diagram. Put your name inside the circle, and then begin to spider diagram off with very clear components of your life. Where do you want to live? If you could snap your fingers and live somewhere in a perfect house, a perfect apartment, exactly how you wanted it, where would that be? Write that down. What car do you want to drive? Write that down. What do you want your partner to be like? Write that down. What do you want your job to be? If you can't think about that, what do you want your job to allow you to be able to do? That's an easy way to go about it, because I always knew I wanted a job that I could work from anywhere in the world, that would allow me to travel to very nice places, that would allow me to make enough money so I can support my family, support my loved ones. That's what I needed my job to be able to do. And then from there, guess what? I found high ticket closing because it just made sense. So write what job, family, home, relationships, car, anything you can think of, watch, anything, your wildest dreams, write them out. And now take a step back, look at everything you've wrote, and decide, is the life you're living now ever going to be able to enable you to achieve all of that? If the answer is no, then you need to figure out where to change, where to pivot, plain and simple. The longer you spend inputting more of your time and energy into this life that will never be able to achieve your vision, the more drained you're going to become. The more energy is going to be siphoned and sapped from you, because subconsciously you're waking up every day and feeling as though you're wasting your time. Because yes, you're going to work so that you can then make money, so that you can pay the bills, and so that you can survive and live and have a roof over your head. But at the end of the day, what is that for? Because if deep down in your mind you're thinking, but this isn't really the life I want to even live, think about it. What would the future look like then if you carry on down that path? It's not going to be bright. It's only going to get worse and sadder and more depressed. And you can't allow that to happen to yourself, because you are stronger than you think. Fear is a powerful enemy, but that little goblin, that little gremlin of fear, I promise you, he can be crushed. He can be defeated. Genuinely. All it takes is that first step. It's like when someone is on the edge of a bungee jump, they suddenly say, I don't want to do this. Of course they do. Because when you're on the edge and you're looking down and you think, wow, I've got a long way to fall here, that's actually the scariest moment, the scariest part. But there's a reason why after they jump, or when someone does a skydive, or after someone goes on a roller coaster, they're like buzzed. Like, wow, that was so good. I'm so grateful that I did that. It's because they not only get the endorphins from the experience itself, but they get that endorphin rush from that feeling of empowerment that overcoming that initial fear has now provided them. So I implore you, if any of you watching believe that high ticket closing may be the career path for yourself, or if you already are a high ticket closer who is already on an offer, who is already making X amount of commission, but you just feel as though you're spinning your wheels and you're getting stuck and your skill level is limited here, you need to work with somebody to uncap that so that you can finally make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per month and then live the life you want to live. Please head to the link in the description that I've provided. You can go straight to booking a direct one-to-one call with myself where we'll have a chat, we'll have a discussion, and we'll see whether this could be the right fit for you, whether I can help you to attain this. Or I've also attached my Instagram, so you can head straight there and just shoot me a DM. I'm always open to chat to people, to answer their questions, to allow them to gain that understanding so that we can get on good terms. Because if you do want to work with me, it will be on a personal one-to-one level. Every single person that I bring on board, I want to make sure that working together, we destroy every goal we set. And that can only be done through concentrated dedication to you. Likewise, to your craft. So, that's that. In Dubai, as the sun is setting, as we begin the year 2026, it's going to be an absolutely incredible year. This year is going to be even better than the last, which was absolutely life-changing. I went abroad near enough every month last year. I'm going to do the same again this year. We're still going to lock in. We're going to grow congruent closers to become one of the greatest sales communities in the space, one where we don't backstab, we don't backhand, we uplift each other in health, wealth, and wellness. And we're going to cultivate this into something incredible, I assure you. So, have a fantastic rest of your day. Have an absolutely incredible 2026. I can't wait to hear back from you if you are someone who is ready to make a drastic life change.